Hey everyone, I'm Soumi Sarkar and I'm currently an SD2 at Microsoft. I'm working with Microsoft for more than 4 years now, and on the Android team I work. The product that I'm working on is Microsoft To Do. Maybe Ethan, you can go to the next slide.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be on the background.
Yeah, okay, sure. So I have around 4 years of Android experience and working in Microsoft To Do, which has more than 10 million downloads in Google Play Store with a rating of 4.7. And I worked on setting up the alerting infra for the To Do clients. Yeah, I'll quickly walk through the agenda for today. So we'll be talking briefly about incident classification. We'll be also covering response protocols and also proactive monitoring techniques, automation for rapid response, continuous improvement, and also I'll be sharing some small case studies from my experience how incident management helped me in my like in improving the quality of the application. I'll be sharing examples from that. Yeah, next. So to start with, let's quickly, I want to quickly talk about why is app resilience important. So while using any application, we might have noticed that suddenly the app crashed. That's not a very good user experience, right? So the first point is it will enhance the user experience. Now, apart from the user part, we also have some business impact if the app is of not of high quality. It will cause revenue loss for the company, and it might also hamper business continuity. Also, maintaining app resilience lowers the maintenance and reduces downtime. Yeah, next. I'll quickly talk about what is an incident. So, it is any unexpected event disrupting the normal app functioning. It can be like crashes or performance issues or security breaches. So, while using any application, we suddenly may see that the app, suddenly exits. That's basically when the app crashes, and there can be some performance issues also, like the load time is more, or the ANR is more, like the Android not responding. We see a dialogue, right, when it says Android has stopped working. That's an ANR, so maybe that is more, or the load time is more. And also there can be security breaches, which means that there can be some data leak, like one user is seeing another user data. Things like that can happen. Yeah, I have mentioned here how to classify the incident. It can be classified on the basis of severity, impact, and frequency. Now, for severity, it can be, now these are actually important, the classification, because that will help us to identify whether we should immediately act upon the incident, or like how much bleeding has happened, or what action we should take. So classification is very important. So based on the severity, it can be classified as critical, major, or minor. Critical means that there is a complete app failure. Major means that there is no total failure, but the impact is severe. And minor is that there can be minor disruptions. And impact is like basically talks about the user impact, like how many users have been impacted, if it is high, medium, or low. And also the functions that it affects, whether it is a very critical function that is getting affected, then it is like if it is a very critical function, then it's of high impact. For frequency, it's like how often the particular incident is happening. So it can be frequent, occasional, or rare. Yeah. Now, let us quickly talk about the steps to effective response protocols. Now, the first step is to identify the incident while we are establishing the alerting infra for our application. This is the first step. We should be able to identify the incident. We should be able to list down the issues that might affect our application, whether it is crashes, or whether it is security breaches, or whether it is performance. The second step is to classify the incident, categorize based on the severity, impact, and frequency. The third step is to create teams, like who is supposed to handle the incident. Now, generally, what we have is we have one primary person who is called the OCE. In case the OCE is not available, it might be further escalated. That will depend from business to business. And yeah, so that is the third step. Next step is to develop procedures. It is very important to outline specific steps for detection, for assessment, and once we have detected the incident, it's very important to contain the incident, to stop the bleeding, and also resolution. The next step is to implement tools. Now, there are several monitoring tools available. It is very important to choose any tool which suits our purposes, and now those tool will help us in real time detection of the incident, and it will basically trigger an alert. The monitors, once it goes red, it will trigger an alert. And lastly, it's important to train the team, because it's important that everybody is aware of the procedures and the processes and the steps that should be taken to curb an incident. Like, for example, we might have say one, two, three. So depending upon the severity, the current DRI or the direct responsible individual, he or she should be absolutely aware of the procedures and the processes to be able to handle the incidents effectively. Yeah. Let's cover a few of the key elements of response protocols. Detection and alerting, as I said, use tools to detect incidents and alert the team. Assessment, we need to quickly assess and classify the incident, and then containment and resolution. As I mentioned, that it's important to stop the bleeding, and then post incident review. Now, once we have dealt with the incident, it is also important to do an RCA, or a root cause analysis, with the team to go through the entire incident, what steps the OCs took to stop the bleeding, and what can we do better so that incidents like these can be avoided in future. So post incident reviews or analysis is very important as well. um, Proactive monitoring techniques. So incident management is definitely there, but also we need to be proactive in monitoring the regular, app health, the app vitals, which might help us in reducing the incidents, and which might help us in improving app performance, and it will in turn enhance user satisfaction by catching the problems early. Now, to do that, we can define some key metrics or KPIs to monitor. Now, first, as I mentioned, crash rate, ANR rate, how much, what is the rate of ANR in our application, the load time, the battery usage, and also the user engagement. Now, let me quickly talk about how these monitors can be these metrics can be monitored. So crash rate, I think it's readily available in Google Play Store, and also there are some third party tools also which can be integrated to monitor the crash rates. ANR also is available. ANR, load time, battery usage, these all are available in Google Play Store. And for user engagement, like for session length and retention rate, we can use telemetry logging. We can basically track the user data, and then depending upon the loggings that we get, we can understand the user engagement. Yeah. um, Next, let's come to how automation can help us to tackle incident management. Now, it significantly improves incident management by speeding up the detection, the response, and even at times we can quickly deploy some patches so that the bleeding can be stopped then and there without human intervention, right? So automation greatly helps us in this case. So first thing is that we can integrate automation tools with our CI/CD pipelines, like on the deployment, on the testing, and ensuring that any new new code that we write, those are properly tested, and those should be integrated with the CI/CD pipelines, right? Next, we can use automation testing tools like Selenium and JUnit to automate the processes and identifying bugs early. Next, we have also tools like SOAR and EDR, which again, these tools are used for automating the detection and response to threats at the client level, and it provides basically real-time protection. So yeah, so automation can be used so that it improves our app quality, and also it will help us in dealing with the incident faster. And so our first like target should be not to let the incident come, right? And which is where automation can help us a great deal. Yeah, next. Automated workflows. Now, here in this slide, I talk about how automation will help us in incident management. Now, alert triaging and routing. Whenever we get an alert, the automated system, they can assess the severity of the alert, filter out false positive. There can be false positives, right? So automation can help us filtering out that as well. And also now automation can help us to route the incident to the respective response teams. Second thing is incident containment. As I was mentioning in the previous slide, we can quickly deploy patches so as to curb the incident, and automation can help us there as well. It can also notify the incident response team via email or messaging platforms, and also post incident reporting, like how the incident was handled, and providing comprehensive incident reports, capturing all the actions taken during the incident for future analysis. And also AI, and nowadays I even see like in Microsoft, I even see our tools have been integrated with the AI. So we also get AI analysis of the incident, of the ongoing incident, what actions have been taken during the incident, what is the current state, also like how much time has like what's the active time for the incident, what is the SLA, all these things I see they are managed by AI. But yeah, I mean, automation can help us a great deal there. The next slide. uh, I'll quickly share a real world example. So our application was there in is there in multiple. Yeah, we can stay on the previous slide. We can stay on the previous slide. Yeah, thank you. So our application is there on multiple platforms on Android, iOS, web. So it was important to keep the data in all the clients in sync. So to do that, we have something called sync engine. So it's very important to maintain the sync, like the data sync, and we also have a concept called sync score, which means that how many successful sync cycles we had in the devices, right? So we had a metric which was already calculating the sync score, but we didn't have any monitor or alert if the sync score went down. We would not want the sync score to go down, right? Because then sync score going down means that there is data discrepancy for the same user in multiple devices. So that is not a good situation to be in. So after we established the alerting infra, it became easier for us to identify whenever the sync score went down. We would go back and check all the metrics, if anything is going down, if any particular API is throwing errors, or like what issue we it helped us to debug. So after we set up the alerting infra, it greatly helped us maintain the sync health of our application. So yeah, I wanted to share this example. You can go to the next slide now. uh, Next thing is I want to quickly talk about how we can foster a culture of continuous improvement. Now we should have regular retrospectives in the team, like what went wrong, what went right, what could have done better, and any suggestions or open ideas. I think these things should be discussed. Encourage open communication, then set clear goals and promote experimentation. And next, I want to also talk about the importance of metrics, documentation, and regular training. Now, the metrics, they are the KPIs to measure progress and identify areas needing improvement. For documentation, it's really important to keep records of the incidents, processes, and improvements, so that like we have rotation, right? The DRI is rotation, so that whatever incidents we are handling in 1 week, the next person is also aware what happened in the previous week, so that he or she can handle the incidents effectively. And definitely regular training, everybody in the team should be regularly trained so that they know how to handle incidents, especially the high severity incidents, which have SLAs, like very low SLAs, right? So regular training is also one very important part. Yeah, I think that's all from my side. Thank you. We can see if we have any question.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sumi. We have two questions on the chat. How do we approach the crash handling in app? What happened and how do you reproduce it in your development? Even though crash analytics give you the where on the crash, but how do you get to know the incident?
Yeah, so this is a very good question and very practical one. I remember running into one such situation when we had an app crash reported, but we were not able to repro the exact scenario, right? So this is very tricky. So few steps that we can take is, first thing is, we will see in our pre-production environment. Usually what happens in our pre-production environment, we also log the stack trace. So we try to see if the same stack trace as we see in Google Play Console, if the same stack trace is already there in some of the pre-production environment. And if it is there, I think it's easier to debug in a pre-prod environment, because there you can exactly see the class name and everything. Those are not obfuscated, right? So
Mm.
but in Google Play Console, usually it is obfuscated, so you cannot usually, like, you cannot pinpoint which is the particular class which is causing the error. But so that is one step. Second step is, we try to reach out to our customer, like, if they can help us to repro the issue. But and also, like, as a practice, what we do is, we write loggings at each and every vulnerable places. We track telemetry, like through telemetry data we can easily debug and see what went wrong and what went right. Or also we try to retrace the user path, the path that user might have taken, which is why
Absolutely.
that particular yeah, which is why that particular scenario was, like, he ended up in that particular scenario. We try to retrace the path of the user by looking at the telemetry data, because we log some of the user data where, what actions he took and all those things, we can, I think, easily make out from there.
Exactly. Yeah, I think using the events, the user journey, maybe
Right.
the device type, all these factors can be used to figure out what led to this issue. And do you think
Right.
also, I want to add to this, like using third-party SDKs that maybe helps the user to maybe I see that in some applications. Like you shake the device and then you give a bug report, like in Instabag, I guess they do this. And
Right.
like how effective do you think this can be?
You mean sharing the data from the device, like the crash
Yeah, from the
data?
device. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that is very useful. That is very useful. But I mean, that will give us a rough idea what went wrong. Like, at times, that
Mhm.
is enough actually to figure out what went wrong. But at times, that is not enough. So then it makes the job a bit harder. But yeah, I guess, like, there are multiple tools and multiple loggings and metrics and all the actions, as you mentioned, all the events. So we go back and see which all events, is there any failures in any particular event, or is there any failure in a particular API? Is there anything which is not expected? We also track the trends in API performances, if there is any API which is not working as expected. So I think all these things help us.
Thank you. I hope that answered the question. Next, we have from Saqib. If severity is critical, then an issue is from outside. Is there any tool which can push code and hotfix issue in runtime? Mm.
I am not aware of this. I
Even
don't
out.
like I have not used any tool which can push the code and hotfix also issue. And also if it is Android application, like you will have to like generate the APK and then upload it to the Google Play Console. Like I am not aware if you can directly push the code and then hotfix. So yeah, I have not used.
Yeah, I've seen this. Maybe I think in Flutter they have something called code push, shorebird. Like you, but this is for mostly for your eye changes. But I'm not sure if there's something like this
Yeah, yeah.
in native Android.
But it'll be good
Okay,
to have actually.
yeah, it would be. Maybe to have. Next from Joan, what service do you use for performance monitoring?
Yeah, so there are several service. The first thing that we depend on is the Google Play Console. I think it has really good tracking data available where you can see like the crashes if they have increased or if there's any new crashes. They also alert if there's any new crashes in the new build that you have published, right? So all those things. Apart from that, there are also some internal tools also, and as I mentioned, we also use telemetry data like the events and actions. We also use that, and also we have the ACE and I score that is more on the service side to see if anything is going wrong with the application, and yeah, so mostly these are the things.
Next, we have from Sushan, if I have uploaded ProGuard mapping file on Google Play Console, then does it give deobfuscated stack trace?
Yeah, I mean, ProGuard file, I think it's like whenever I have uploaded the application in the Google Play Console, I do see that it will deobfuscate the stack trace to some extent, but still, I don't see like it is, as we see in the Android Studio debug console, it's not like that still. But yeah, to some extent, it is deobfuscated. And I think it will depend upon the ProGuard mapping file also, like what file you are
Exactly.
uploading. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, in Crashlytics, it's about yeah, it's really okay.
Yeah.
And this is for Flutter. How Okay, we have last question from Samir. How did you integrate it with the AI with performance monitoring and crash handling?
Yeah, so we have some internal tool in Microsoft where they have integrated the Copilot. We have separate team for Copilot, so they are integrating these things over the in the tool. So I do see that the ICM portal that we have in Microsoft that does have AI in that. I think it's the separate team that's working, and yeah, I mean it's basically the Copilot work that's going around across Microsoft.
Okay. Last question from do you use a remote logging, and if how far it is helping?
Remote logging, what is it? Like, what is remote logging? Like tracking the data, like the user data, or like like I'm not sure I understand what's remote logging.
I'm not sure even that. Like, I think that this come like the structure is already comes in the Crashlytics, so that's
Yeah,
already
yeah.
helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, and if
So
you're talking about the action, like the actions that user take, I think that
yeah.
okay. So the actions that the user take that we are logging, and yeah, I think it's helping us to a great extent because, as I mentioned, it's important to recreate the paths that the user have taken to be able to get into that scenario, and that kind of logging helps us a great deal. But yeah, I don't know what is remote logging.
Neither do I. Okay, so guess the best way to handle the security while using third-party libraries.
So in Microsoft, we have some certain restrictions in using third-party libraries. We cannot use many third-party libraries, and I can talk about what is followed in Microsoft. I'm not sure what is being followed elsewhere. So we have to basically declare, like we have internal portal where we have to declare the third party libraries that we are integrating with the application, and there's an internal tool again which runs and it basically scrutinizes if there's any vulnerability in the particular library, and it will block the library in case it finds so. So that way I think we are safe.
Okay, I think that's it. Like we have some other questions, but like we kind of short of time. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Sumi. Actually, one last thing that I want to mention, the
Yes.
importance of stress testing. For example, I've been previously working on an app that like served millions of users, and at the same time, like the app it's a chat app, and then some users have loads of contacts, and during the testing phase, we would have maybe a stress test with 1,000 contacts, for example. I think that's like one of the important parts in like testing and preventive mechanisms.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Thanks for covering that.
thank you
It's
very
also
much.
really important. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.